This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Your RV guide for Oklahoma and beyond. Give us a call at 918-460-KRMG. Now, let's hit the road.
Good afternoon. Welcome in. This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper here along with Willy D from Wade's RV. And Willy D, hope you're having a great afternoon. I know it would be a wonderful weekend to go out and go camping. The last couple of days, really, I know it's been a little bit rainy, but this weather, when it turns to like this and it's cooling down, I want to go outside. I want to crack some windows. I take midday naps. It's fall camping right as we love it.
It's exactly like you said. It is time for fall camping, and I know everyone's getting excited just like I am. I love summer camping, but it's kind of cool. RVing isn't just a one-season sport. Like if you like to, ski on the lake, you're not going to necessarily be able to do that in the winter or in the fall because it's going to be freezing out there. Camping, you can camp in every single season. So we're just transitioning to a different style of camping, and I'm really excited for it. And I know a lot of people are out camping right now, and we have a lot of people out here at Wade's RV. I think they've gotten a little bit of what I would call the bug. And so they're out here taking a look at RVs. The parking lot is just about full. So that's really cool. And I talk about how Wade is always involved in the dealership and how he's always running around and helping. I am actually looking out my window right now, and he's out front and he's actually hitching up. He's putting a car on a tow dolly and helping the customers out with that. So kind of a little bit of a testament right here out in front of us right now. But if you're looking for an RV, come on out and see us today. We have a whole lot of great deals on both new and pre-owned RVs. So we have just about everything you're looking for, and we have RVs in every single class. And we're going to be here until 5 p.m. this evening, and we're located at 161st and Highway 75, or you can always see what we have before you arrive on wadesrv.com. So lots of ways to come out and see us, but you got to make sure if you're not doing anything to come on out and see the RVs that we have. And if you haven't looked at an RV in a while, you're going to be amazed by how far they've come. This is not your grandpa's RV. These things have big TVs, fireplaces, and are really, really cool.
If you want to get a question answered, anything RV related, if you got a problem with yours, you want some advice, or you want to know where to go camping, anything in that realm. That's what we do here every Saturday from noon to 1. It's Camping with Wade's RV. You can give us a call, 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764. You can also shoot us a text. The number is 70123. That's our new number, 70123. Put KRMG first and then your question, and Willy D can answer those for you. So today we're going to start off with the story that I want to hear from Willy D, because we have a couple of things that we've decided are my favorite units out there at Wade's RV. I'm going to have a hard time picking a top, but I think because I drove it, it's the Sport Chassis. And the Evoque camper is one of my favorites too. So let's start with Sport Chassis. And I think you have a little story about one this week.
Yeah, so it was really cool. A lot of the times doing my position in marketing, I don't get to necessarily be out on the floor and know exactly what's going on with every single unit. I like to think that I do, and I like to kind of think I know, everything that's going on here at Wade's RV. But, there is sometimes things that go underneath my radar, and I miss them. And it was unannounced to me, but we actually sold another Sport Chassis, which is really, really cool. And this was our mocha colored one. And this is one of my favorites that we had on the lot. So it was kind of near and dear to my heart. I've taken it to a couple different shows, so I've driven it and have a little bit of personal experience. But Matt, he's one of the sales managers. And he comes back to my office and he said, "Hey, Willy, you have some Sport Chassis people." And I'm known as the Sport Chassis guy. So if you want to learn more about what we're talking about, these incredible trucks, you can get on YouTube and type in Sport Chassis guy, and you'll be able to find the videos. I do a lot of different walkarounds and talk about the different features and really just about how cool these trucks are. But he said you had some Sport Chassis guy people here. And I thought, maybe they've seen a video or something like that. And it was really cool because they kind of thought I was like a celebrity or something because they've been watching my videos. But I came out and they were like, "Hey, you're Willy D, the Sport Chassis guy, and we just purchased our Sport Chassis from you. And I was wondering if you wouldn't mind going on a drive with us and kind of doing a little walk around." And it really took me back because I make these videos and I know people watch them, but to actually hear that someone's watching them and they actually drove 9 hours to come to Wade's RV to buy their sport chassis. There's a lot of different places that they could have purchased it from, but they drove all that way to purchase their sport chassis from Wade's RV. So I felt really honored that they had actually come down, watch the videos, and come to see exactly what the Wade's RV difference is, because I talk about it so often about the difference and the experience difference that you're going to have here at Wade's RV, and they were able to see it firsthand. So it was really cool. And another thing is they were involved in the horse world, and so we had a lot in common about that. They actually are in a sport, I'm not sure exactly what you would call it. I call it cowboy, and I mean they get on horses and they run around and they actually do old Western style shooting off the back of their horses and shoot targets. And so I got to see some videos of that, and it was really cool, and we got to connect. But they watched the videos, they drove 9 hours, and I was able to go around the sport chassis and give them, I would say, the full demonstration. You know, we got to talk about all the buttons and the switches and all the features, and these things have a lot of features. One of my favorite features is all the air ride abilities that it has. They were just blown away by seeing the air ride seats. Whenever we're talking about air ride seats, a lot of people think, oh, yeah, you get to air up that airbag and you're just going up and down and it's just one direction. That's not the case whatsoever. That's just where it begins. I believe there's about 6 different air ride adjustments which you can make on that seat alone. And it also has a back roller. It has heated seats, and that's just in the seat. And so it has air ride seats, air ride cab, air ride in the bed. And what's really cool is if you ever have a flat tire on your truck or your trailer, or you just need to go around and check and make sure your air is all exactly where it needs to be, because you have all of this air ride, it actually has a compressor on board. So I got to go over that. I got to show them. I got to get my hands a little dirty yesterday and going over it, and just I got to actually detail the truck as well. I wanted to make sure it was just as clean as could possibly be before they hit the road. And so we got to go over all the features and just make another relationship. At Wade's RV, that's what we talk about a lot, is it's not necessarily just about the products, but it's about the relationships. And so they added me on Facebook, and I think it's a beginning of a long-term friendship. It was really cool. They come down here to Oklahoma all the time, and I can't wait to see it. They got home last night, and I cannot wait to see that truck hooked up to that Elite trailer. I know it's going to look really sharp, and they're going to be the talk of the town. And one thing that really struck me was when we were talking about why they chose Sport Chassis is because of the safety involved with this truck. A lot of people are, really big and proud about their F450, and while it will pull all of that weight, we're talking about stopping power and visibility. That's what makes a big difference with these trucks, is whenever you're going down the road, you're going to have stopping power. That truck weighs about 14,000 pounds, which is almost twice of what an F350 or F450 weighs. So whenever you're pulling 30,000 pounds behind you, you're going to have a lot more weight to actually help you stop whenever you're going. And pushing those loads with that heavier weight. And then the visibility. He said his daughter goes to a lot of shows and things, and with the visibility of how high you sit in that truck and how you can see all the way around you, and it has the cameras for whenever you're backing, he wanted to be able to send his daughter out on the road and make sure that he felt safe with her going. And that's exactly the safety and security that they're going to get with this truck. And it's just really exciting to see someone, they learn about this truck. They said, we had no intention whatsoever of upgrading our truck, because the one they had that they traded in was not that old, but they saw it, they heard about the sport chassis, and they heard about the difference, and they saw just about how much better their towing experience was going to be, and they couldn't help themselves. And so we were able to help them out get into their very first sport chassis, which is really cool. And I have no doubt in my mind that they will be back for many more in the future. And it was just a really cool experience to have them come all the way from Illinois to over here to Wade's RV to see exactly what we do here at Wade's RV every day.
So they're pulling a horse trailer with theirs, and I know that one of the things I love about that truck so much is the versatility of it. If I owned one, I'd be pulling probably a toy hauler or something to fit all of the four-wheelers, dirt bikes, and side-by-sides in. But I would imagine you've seen things that run the gamut on what people are using them for, because they are just so versatile.
Yes, you can use them for so many different things. One thing, if I have any insurance agents, some State Farm insurance guys that are interested in a sport chassis, give me a call, because I want to make this like the ultimate State Farm wagon. It seems like a lot of people have, Jeeps or big SUVs that they soup up that are red, and Sport Chassis makes a beautiful red truck. I want to put someone in one of those. So people use them for a lot of different things, promotional regions, a lot of times, one thing that people love about Sport Chassis is the size of the actual cab itself. Shaq, he has one. And the reason he has one is he's a really big guy. And so the Sport Chassis makes it where he can actually drive that around, and it makes it a really comfortable ride. But people use them for daily drivers. That's one thing. I used to live downtown Tulsa, and I would drive one home almost every single day.
I think we lost Willy D. Let's go ahead and take our break, Tim. We love technology around here. You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV. We'll pick that up and more coming up. This is Camping with Wade's RV, 102.3 KRMG.
Saturday at noon on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It's Camping with Wade's RV. You're listening to 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. This is Skyler Cooper with Willy D. Your camping questions, anything RV that you need to know. Get a hold of us, 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764, or shoot us a text at 70123. Start your message with KRMG and then your question. That number is 70123. So, Willy D, we lost you just before our break there. You were saying that you used to drive a Sport Chassis to downtown Tulsa. That sounds challenging.
It really is not. That's the great thing about a Sport Chassis is it does go down the road. It fits in a normal parking space. That's a huge thing. And we're going to talk about a couple different RVs and why you would want to choose those because they do fit in parking spaces. But yeah, I used to drive one every single day almost. And I lived downtown at the University Club. So I drove one home quite frequently, and it fit right on down those roads. And back before they did that Denver expansion, it was pretty narrow down through there. But it was very easy to accomplish, and people use these for all sorts of different things. You can use it just to look cool. You can use it to pull your horses, or you can use it for, like I said, just day-to-day work or working on the ranch. There's just so many different things. It's kind of like RVing. Everyone uses it a little bit different. So if you drive a big truck, more than likely a Sport Chassis would work out very well for you and really increase your just experience. One thing that I love is whenever you're going down the road and you are taking long trips, you don't feel tired. You don't have that jet lag whenever you get to your destination. So after 8-9 hours of driving, you can actually sit down and relax and not just want to go straight off to bed. So it's a great truck. And if you're interested, give us a call at Wade's RV, 918-291-1011. And if you buy a Sport Chassis, guess what? I will give you the demo. No problem. That'll be guaranteed in the deal. And so we can go over and talk about just how great they are. And I'll show you all the tips and tricks as well.
If you were with us last week, you heard us talking about Girl Camper and Camper College. And for those that missed it, Willy D, remind us, what is Camper College and how can they participate?
So Camper College is going to be a really great event that we're going to have out here. And we partnered with Girl Camper, which is a club which is really enthusiastic about helping girls get out and start camping. They have a saying, there's no wrong way to camp like a girl. And I really enjoyed being involved with them and just what they support. They support getting people involved and getting them out into the lifestyle. And so we're going to have a little bit of a Camper College. And so with that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about some basics with RVs, and that includes how to hitch up a travel trailer, how to dump your RV tanks. And Brenda's going to be talking about how to, one, join Girl Camper if it's something you're interested in, or also she's going to tell you what it really means to camp like a girl and some of their philosophies and things that they really stand behind. One thing that's really cool is they really help each other out. So whenever people are backing in, I know a lot of times whenever I go to the campsites, I'm the guy with the RV, and then my friends are showing up later. And so backing up can sometimes be just a little challenging, and they really get out there and support each other and really help people get out and camp. You know, if you haven't been camping before and there's just one person in the RV, sometimes, you know, you can find a friend, bunk up with them, and learn a little bit about the RVs before you get out and try to go out and purchase one. And we're going to be talking about, you know, how to get started shopping for an RV. What do you need to think about? Where do you need to go? And so we're going to be doing a full walk around of that unit. And so we're going to be having a little bit of a seminar. And so if you're interested in that, what you can do is call up to Wade's RV and tell them that you want to participate in Camper College. And they're going to ask you a couple questions and get some information from you. And then we will send you your VIP badge, and that's going to be your ticket to get into the event. And so it's going to be September 26th, starting at 9 a.m. And we're going to have a question and answer session afterwards. So if you have questions about just anything RV, you can show up and we'll go over them and make sure that you get a full tutorial on RVing and kind of get a little taste in the lifestyle. I'm going to have a couple different RVs out front here. I'll probably have a travel trailer, the Aspen Trail, that's really famous. You can get into those Aspen Trails for about a cell phone payment. I mean, you can get into those for about $100 to $200 a month, depending on what model and floor plan you choose. And so I'm going to have one of those out there. I'll probably have a fifth wheel and a motorhome as well so people can walk through and just see what they're like. And if you want to come out and check out any RVs, you can do that as well. One thing that's really cool is we do test drives. We do test pools so we can make sure that you are comfortable with whatever RV you choose before you ever head out and start camping and enjoying the lifestyle. One thing that I love is you can really just kick back and get away. And that's what camping's all about. And so if you want to see what it's about, how to participate, and how you can get involved, like I said, call Wade's RV, 918-291-1011, and tell them you want to be a part of Camper College. I would love to see everyone that listens to this show out there. I think it's going to be a great time. And like I said, this group, Girl Camper, is a really great group. And this isn't just for girls. If you're a man, you can come on to that as well. I'll be teaching the seminar, and I'm really excited about that. And Michael, if you've been out here in the last couple of weeks from Hot Diggity Dog, he's going to be out here cooking up some hot dogs. He's got fresh lemonade and a whole lot of good stuff. So you definitely want to come out and participate in that. We're going to have a great day at Wade's RV. That's what we do every day here at Wade's RV, is we get people out there and we get them turning miles into memories. So I'm really excited about this event, and it's going to be really cool to meet some people out in the community.
Sounds like a lot of fun. You might be able to convert a few people, too, who are camping naysayers. I've been reading a lot about that, and it's hard to go a couple days in the news without hearing about RVing because of the pandemic this year, and it's become so popular that people are jumping on board. And I was just reading a little bit of a story before we went on the air at 12 that there's someone who's all about it now, and they used to be a camping naysayer. They were just not into it because they used to they lived in an area where the snowbirds would come in and they would just take over the town. And the old school campers, they were too noisy and they didn't like it. So they have decided, okay, I'm going to try it because of what's going on this year, and they're sold.
Yes, absolutely. RVs are advancing every single day. That's one thing that's cool about getting new inventory. For one, is new and improved floor plans. And then number two, also all the new and improved technology. And so whenever I was referencing earlier, this is not your grandpa's camper. I camped in my grandpa's camper all growing up, and now looking back, I didn't realize how cool it was because it was an Airstream. But knowing what I know now, it was a really cool rig. But the technology and the luxuries and amenities that these RVs have, I wouldn't call it camping. I would call it glamping. I mean, this is like going to someone's apartment. I mean, these things are incredible, and they have all the equipment. Back in the day, RVs used to not even have AC units, and so these things are built and designed to take care of you. And whenever you go out and you're camping, either in the woods or if you go to different events, people use campers for all sorts of different things. Some people even use them as a residence. It's going to feel like you're just at home, and that's why people get an RV, is so you can take your home away from home with you every single place you go. Because whenever I go to hotels sometimes for a rodeo, guess what? I don't know who's been in that bed. I have to pack a bag. I have to bring that with me. And if you have an RV, guess what? You don't have to do that. You can throw it all in your RV and you never have to unpack. You can wash your clothes, put them back in there, and then it's ready to go with you. So really cool, and we love showing people how to do it.
Got to take a break. You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV. If you have a question for Willy D, give us a call, 918-460-KRMG. This is Camping with Wade's RV. We're going to take a break for the news, and we'll be back on 102.3 KRMG.
This is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It's Camping with Wade's RV, 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper along with Willy D. Today, if you have questions about camping or RVs, get a hold of us at 918-460-KRMG, 460-5764, or by text message. The number is 70123. Put KRMG at the front and then your question to 70123. Be happy to answer those for you. Mentioned it earlier in the show, Willy D, but let's dive into it now because with the weather the way it's been and the way it is this earlier today and still right now, it's only like 70 degrees. It's making me think about fall camping. I love to go out, build a campfire, and enjoy the cooler weather. So it's a great time and a very popular time for people to go camping. What are some of the things people ought to be thinking about? Because it's sort of, especially in Oklahoma, it can be moody, the weather. And let's talk about some of the ways to be prepared for fall camping.
One of the things I would do to be prepared is bring some hot dog sticks, because it's time to sit by that fire and start roasting some hot dogs. So that would be my first recommendation. But it is, if there could be a time that was considered perfect time for camping, I would say it's right now. I'm sitting in my car and I'm looking at the thermometer and it says 68 degrees. And so it would just be perfect to be out there, taking a nice hike. But one thing that is also going to change is going to be the style of camping. And so whenever we're talking about fall camping, you're not going to be jumping in the lake to go for a swim. You're not going to be going to your favorite spring for the swimming hole. Things are going to change a little bit. So whenever I'm fall camping, one thing that I really like to do is go hiking. And so whenever it's warmer, I usually like to find myself over there by the lake and stuff like that. But whenever the weather does cool down, I like to go start hiking a little bit more for a couple different reasons. For one, the bugs are down. In Oklahoma, we have ticks all over the place. And let me tell you, I like to avoid those just about as much as I can. I don't know anyone that likes ticks, but the bugs are going to be down, and you're also going to be able to have those leaves changing colors. And so whenever you're walking through the forest, those trees do hold water. And so during the summer, sometimes it gets really hot and muggy in the forest. And whenever that weather cools down, it does make it really, really nice. So I would go start camping in a couple different places. One place I really like to hike at is Robbers Cave. And so if you've never been out there, it's a really cool place. It's where outlaws like Jesse James and Belle Starr, where they used to hide out in the hills away from the law whenever they're running and trying to evade them. And so it's a really cool place where you can learn a lot about history, but you can also see some really cool sights. And so whenever you go there, you can hike up I call it a mountain. You can hike up the mountain and you can see a really cool overlook, and you see all out in front of you, and it's really cool to see the landscape. And that part of Oklahoma, another really great place, which we talked about last week, was out in Osage Hills. They have a lot of really great hiking out there. And so once again, I guess I'm a sucker for overlooks, but you can go up this hill and you can go stand up on top of this stone structure, and you can see all out in front of you and just see for miles and miles. I feel like you can just see forever. It's a really cool experience. And another great one, I always loved the movie Where the Red Fern Grows, and you can go out to Natural Falls and go hike around out there. There's a huge waterfall, and right now with all the rain, I bet it is probably flowing. And so if you like waterfalls and you like scenic views, go out there to Natural Falls and check that out. There's a lot of great hiking, and there's more than one. There's one big waterfall, but there's more than one little kind of waterfall sort of deal. And if you like taking pictures and being one of those Instagram influencers, you can go out there and get a lot of great content. So go out there and check it out today. And if you like that movie, Where the Red Fern Grows, like I said, a little, I guess, tip or tidbit is they did film that out there. And so watch it before you go out there, watch it whenever you go afterwards, and see if you were on some of those same trails. So the camping is going to change a little bit, but it's all for a good thing. And guess what? Summer will be back next year. So we're just going to start transitioning into a different style of camping, start moving out of the water and more so on land, you might say.
You might want to pack a little bit differently, too. Let's talk about the season itself changing. So, obviously, warmer clothes. You mentioned earlier that glamping is really what we're talking about here. But, maybe you still want to sit outside and enjoy it, so some extra blankets. What supplies do you change, Willy D, when you start fall camping?
Well, there's some things that I never change. For one, lawn chairs. I bring a lawn chair with me just about everywhere I go. But like I said, I start bringing firewood. That's one thing. If I can't find it somewhere, I'm definitely going to be packing firewood. I'm going to be bringing hot dog sticks. I'm going to be bringing stuff more so to be geared to being outside, I would say, even though you're out in the summer and you're camping. I find myself that I'm either on the water or I'm in the camper eating or sleeping. And so I do a lot more things outside the camper. So maybe if you don't have a speaker on the outside of your camper, what you can do is bring a speaker, bring a picnic table, and kind of just enjoy the outdoors just a little bit more. One thing that's nice is that smoke, before it freezes, that smoke will take care of some of those bugs for you. And so it'll eliminate some of those problems. If you want, bring some cool candles or lanterns, things like that. And so you can be outside, you can be out looking at the stars. If you like telling stories, bring a few storybooks. My grandpa always used to tell scary stories whenever we were growing up and sitting around the campfire. And it was kind of a cool thing. I will say they definitely scared me whenever I was a child, but sit around the fire, tell some good stories, and really connect with your friends and family.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm really getting into, and I plan to do a lot of this fall, even just in the backyard, but especially camping, is cooking outside. And I know you have a lot of cooking tips. It's one of your favorite things to do out there, and whether that's your bagel bites or some barbecue. I know you like to cook when you're out there.
Oh, yeah, I love cooking, and when it gets really cold, sometimes you will find me inside the camper cooking. But one thing that I really have enjoyed using recently has been a Blackstone grill. And so I'm on a lot of different Facebook groups for camping, and this seems to be one of the hottest ticket items that are out there. And I've been using it myself. Basically, it's like a flat top. I guess if you go to like a hibachi restaurant where they cook all in front of you and all that sort of stuff. Very similar, but you have your own personal one. And so it's really cool because it's got, I don't know if it's cast iron or not, but you can season the top of this. You can cook on it. It's really great. I love cooking some tacos. I was cooking burgers on it last week. Like I said, I was out at Keystone Lake and I brought that with me. Really easy to portable to fold up. And you can get them in different sizes. So if you don't have much storage, guess what? You don't have to be left out. You can still be part of this Blackstone gang. But if you haven't heard of these, check them out. It's a really cool product, and it's really made my cooking a whole lot easier. I'm not necessarily a master chef. As we said, I am a large fan of bagel bites. And so I have this out there, and my friends are usually cooking on it, to be 100% honest. But it's really great, and it's really made our eating experience a whole lot better because we have been able to cook such a variety of different foods.
You know, you compared it to the hibachi places. I'm just picturing you out there doing the tricks, flipping flipping everything around, throwing shrimp in people's mouth.
Yeah, actually, little known, I guess, thing about Willy D is back in the day, whenever I used to work at the Bill Rice Ranch in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, we used to have a cookout in the mornings for different people that were out there being guests of ours at the ranch. And my job was actually to flip toast. And when we're talking about flipping toast, yes, I was on the grill and I was flipping it. But the thing was, my specialty was I used to be able to throw a piece of toast up over my head and over a building and then throw it onto someone's plate. So I have been known as the culinary, I don't know, joker or circus man. I have been in the circus as well, but I have been known to do a few tricks like that in the past. So if you find me and we're cooking toast, because that is one thing you can do on there, I'll be cooking some Texas toast. And if you want me to show you the trick, I'll see if I can flip you a piece of toast over the camper maybe. But we can definitely have some fun if you catch me out there at the campsite.
Willy D, your RV expert and toast flipper extraordinaire. This is Camping with Wade's RV. Let's take a break. And if you have any questions for Willy D about flipping toast or what you should buy in the RV world, we've got some updates on what they are looking at. New inventory down there at Wade's RV. It's coming up right after the break. This is 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It's Camping with Wade's RV, 102.3 KRMG. I'm Skyler Cooper along with Willy D. He is at Wade's RV, 161st and Highway 75. You can find him until 5 p.m. tonight. Or give him a call, 918-291-1011. Willy D, I know that you guys are out there making deals today because fall campers are probably flocking in. I wanted to ask you about something we've covered in the past, and let's go over it now for someone who might be looking for a new RV. I know you carry Newmar. That's one of your nicest lines, but you talk about gas rig versus diesel pusher, and I know that there's a reason you'd want one over the other. Cost might be one of those things, but tell me the difference.
So the big difference is going to be the engine, like what we were talking about, is having the gasoline over the diesel. But many times whenever we're getting into 45-foot buses, they don't necessarily make those in gas rigs. So if someone is looking for a unit of that size and of that caliber, then they almost have to get a diesel pusher just because of the weight and things. Another reason someone might want to go ahead and get a diesel pusher is because if they're towing stuff, if you're trying to tow 10, 15,000 pounds, you're just not going to be able to accomplish that with a gas rig due to just the engine and the weight that engine is going to be able to pull. And so there's a couple different reasons why someone might want a gas or someone might want a diesel, and it comes down to what you're doing necessarily and what kind of coach you're looking for. But one really cool thing is this week, if you are looking for a Newmar, gas or diesel, we have these marked down to incredibly low prices. I mean, these are the lowest that I've seen all year round, and especially the gas rigs right now. Matt, he's the sales manager. He came to me and he said, "Hey, Willy, I just got approval from Newmar to go ahead and drop these prices," because what a lot of people don't understand is that we don't actually, some of the stuff we don't make the prices on. That is what we have to sell that at due based on to what the manufacturers tell us we have to sell it for. And so they got approval to go ahead and mark these down. And there's some crazy deals out there on some leftover 2020 models. And if you are a fan of the Ford V10 engine, you got to get it while it's hot because they are not making that engine anymore. So we do have a couple of those left out here on the lot. So if you're looking to take advantage of some great savings, now is the time. I was looking at one this morning And originally, it had been marked down from its MSRP down to $160,000. And I looked today, and I believe it was at 140. So we're talking big savings. $20,000 is a lot of money. So if you're looking for a gas rig, you got to come out here and check these out. And especially if you have not been in a Newmar, you have to see the difference. And whenever you walk in, you will instantly see the difference. I was amazed whenever we first got our first Newmars. The very first one we got was actually a gas rig. And I had been used to selling other gas rigs in the past, and they were all very, very similar to each other. You know, there was different floor plans or maybe different feature here or a different feature there. But whenever I stepped into that Newmar, you could tell the difference in quality. I mean, there was a huge difference in the manufacturer's attention to detail and the quality of parts they used. Whenever you started opening on cabinets and touching and feeling things, it was actually solid and it wasn't going to fall apart. And that goes all the way from down at the tires all the way up to the roof. These things have one-piece fiberglass roofs. They also have, like I said, solid wood cabinetry, solid surface countertops. And one thing that I love is the actual wall construction. Whenever you're looking at a Newmar, you're going to have a hung wall, which means you're not going to just have a piece of laminate hung on the side of the wall there and drilled into place.
Looks like Willy D's dropping out a little bit again. That connection down at Glenpool can sometimes get to us. It's 161st and Highway 75 if you're looking for him. I think I got you back, Willy D. Go ahead.
Perfect. What I was saying is that the construction, you really notice the difference whenever you get into the actual structure of the unit and you start looking into the walls of the unit itself. This is going to be built very much like your house. You're going to have aluminum studs, you're going to have rollout insulation, and then you're going to have a solid exterior piece as your wall to put it all together. Like I said, you're not going to have that laminate, which is just sandwiched together. This is going to be built very much like your house, and that exterior piece is very much like the siding. And what Newmar does is they go ahead and they apply full body paint. And so you're not going to see any of that fading or any of that chalking. It's a very high quality Sickens paint, and you're really going to notice the difference. So, like I said, from the moment you open a compartment door or you step inside a Newmar, you're going to notice the difference in these things and the quality and precision that Newmar puts into building every single one of their coaches. So, come on out here and see us today. Like Skyler was saying, we're going to be open until 5 p.m. This evening. And then during the week, it's really cool. We're actually open until 6. So if you get off at 5 o'clock, you still have time to come on out here and check out all the RVs that we have. And like I said, huge savings. I'm talking about $20,000. These things have been marked down to some incredible prices that you don't want to miss out on. And it's because we're getting room for those new 2021 models. And we keep having new inventory arrive every single day. We have travel trailers, we have fifth wheels, we have toy haulers, and we have RV.
There we go again. Just a few minutes left here on Camping with Wade's RV. 1023 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper with Willy D. I hear you back now. Hey, we just got a minute or so left, Willy D. So you mentioned a minute ago that V10 Ford engine, and I know you've got someone who wants to talk a little bit more about that. John is with us on Camping with Wade's RV. Hey, John.
Hey there.
What can we do for you?
Hey, I was wondering if the RV guy would recommend the Ford or the Mercedes for my wife. I've been looking at them, and I just wanted to get a second opinion.
Myself personally, so whenever we're talking about the Ford or the Mercedes, we're going to be talking about two engines that are different. For one, the Mercedes engine, for people that are not familiar with the Mercedes engine, is it's going to be a diesel. The Ford being the gas, what I think personally is it really depends on the floor plan. If you're looking for more of a 24-foot unit, that Mercedes could be really great for you, and it also depends on what you're wanting to tow. If you're planning on taking a trailer behind you, then I would really recommend the Ford because you're going to have more towing capacity and you're going to have a little bit more pep, and you're also going to be able to go to a little bit more of larger floor plans whenever you're looking at the Ford versus the Mercedes. The largest floor plan that you're going to find in the Mercedes is going to be a 24-foot unit. So whenever you flip over to the Ford, if you're looking for something with a little bit more space and a little bit more room for you and your wife, then the Ford can take you all the way up to about 38 foot. So give you a lot more options.
Okay, well, thanks.
So I hope that helps you out. Come on out and see us at Wade's RV.
Thank you, sir. Hey, we got about a minute or so left here, Willy D. So let's remind everybody how they can find you guys, where to get a hold of you.
So if you're looking for Wade's RV, you're not going to have to look very far. Go ahead and type in on your computer www.wadesrv.com, and you can find us there. We have a groundbreaking website where you can value your trade. You can buy an RV 100% online, and you can even schedule service appointments. So find us online, or you can come by and see us here at the store. We're going to be here until 5 p.m. We're out at 161st and Highway 75, just 5 minutes south of Tulsa Hills. So just stay on 75 and you won't be able to miss us, or give us a call at 918-291-1011 and tell them Willy D sent you.
All right. Thanks for listening to Camping with Wade's RV. Remember, if you missed any part of the show, you can always find us 24/7 on demand on the KRMG app or krmg.com. Our podcasts are available up there 24/7. And remember, we'll be back next Saturday at noon, every Saturday, noon to 1. It's Camping with Wade's RV. And get a hold of them throughout the week if you have any further questions. Coming up, we have the future of real estate with Daryl Baskin and KRMG Home Pros just a couple hours away. So stay with us right here on an Ask the Experts weekend. My name is Skyler Cooper. You're listening to 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.